How's it going, everyone? Cannon's Taker here, and welcome back to another episode of Collector's Zone Haul number 100. Yep, the big 100, and I thought for this episode, rather than just show what I picked up from my, from the comic shop recently, I thought I'd go through all my, sorry, I'm looking over there where my boxes are, all the comic boxes I have full of comics, and just go through them all, go down memory lane, and just pick out some ones and show them for this video, and talk about them and how much fun I had reading them. So let's start with box one. We'll kick things off with issue 1 of Rocco's Modern Afterlife. This is pretty much like a Dawn of the Dead or any kind of zombie movie, and it's just set in Rocco's modern life. It was a really fun little read, and if I can remember, everyone, I don't know if they watched a TV or they were using a mobile phone, everyone just starts turning into zombies, and yeah, it's pretty much just set in like present time. Heffer's a streamer, a full-time streamer, and while he's trying to survive, he's telling his fans, "Oh, am I gonna make it through in this session or this stream? Oh, smash that like button if I'm gonna live," kind of thing. And it's really fun. I recommend this one. I just realised this is when I was doing my own CGC, I went through all my comics and picked out ones that I was going to make or put into the KSC CGC category, and I just ended that. It's just because I kept forgetting to do it, and I thought, I just won't worry about it. So this has done half my work for me. So most of the issues that I was wanting to talk about are going to be in this box. Tell you what, there's a lot of comics that I wanted to show that I enjoyed reading. There's also going to be a few recommendations as well, and one of them is going to be Autumn's River, a really fun read. I believe it's an Australian local comic creator, and yeah, I've been trying to look for the next few issues, but I struggled a little. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. So any Aussie comic fans, give this one a read if you do see it in your store. Red Sonja, 1982. It's Terminator 1 in Red Sonja's universe. Really fun, I recommend it. I keep saying the issue, but really I should be saying the entire run. Red Sonja, Black, White and Red. I really enjoyed this run, and I'm still picking up like the latest issues of it. I don't know if it's ended just yet, but what I like with this one, it's mini stories of Red Sonja. So they take all these different writers and they create their own stories, unique art, and it's really fun. I really like that in a comic when it's mini comics in one. It's really good. This is issue 4. It's just because I really like the cover. Star Wars Bounty Hunter, a really good read. I'm pretty sure I picked this up when Mandalorian aired for the first time, and I was just in that really sort of, I like this kind of Star Wars, the bounty hunters and just characters that aren't Jedi, essentially. And yeah, I was really enjoying this one. Really, really fun. I have to do a double. So Vampirella and the Dark Powers, Red Sonja and the Superpowers. So there's a line of comics like the Dark Powers, the Superpowers, and these two characters showed up in this series. And what I liked with these particular issues, as I was reading them along together, I had read this one first, and I didn't pick up that these were connecting. So at the end of this one, if I remember, Red Sonja shows up, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. So I was really hyped about that, and yeah, really good series of comics, and yeah, just had absolute blast. We got Reva. So we had this run, and then there was a sequel as well, and really enjoyed it. It's pretty much Suicide Squad in Game of Thrones. It's really good. You got a band of misfits, and they have no choice but to do missions and all that stuff. And yeah, I don't want to spoil too much because it's really good, and yeah, I recommend giving that one a read. Any H.P. Lovecraft fans, I recommend, if you like that kind of universe kind of stuff, I don't even know how to put it, but this is what I got from reading this comic, like those vibes. Mercy. So yeah, if you love that kind of stuff, really give this one a go. It's really good. Now this one really made me a fan of just these line of comics. Red Sonja and Vampirella meet Betty and Veronica. Really enjoyed this series. I never thought I'd read anything like Archie or Betty and Veronica. At the time, I was starting to get into Vampirella and Red Sonja, and I thought I'd give this one a go, and had an absolute blast. It's it's always like Scooby-Doo with Vampirella and Red Sonja, just the shenanigans they get up to. Actually, I changed my mind. It's like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. They're in high school, mysteries are happening, students are dying, so give it a go. I really had fun with this series. Unbound. It's a video game avatar thing. Gamers are in this game world. A character dies, they die in real life. It's a virus of some sort, so their mission is to try and track it down and stop it before anyone else dies. And I believe there's another one coming out, a run of this. I can't remember, but really good. Really had fun with it. I love this cover so much, and a really good run. Mars Attacks, Red Sonja. Any Star Wars fans? As soon as I saw that comic on the shelf, I was like, oh, that is a great cover. So, yeah, really, really awesome. One of my favourite covers for a comic. I love this comic so much. If I remember, I bought all the issues on shelf that I could get, and then just bought the rest on eBay because I wanted to finish it. Hellchild the Unholy, really fun. It's... how do I explain? I want to say a bit like Blade. You know, you got vampires, and she's a half vampire if I remember. And yeah, it's very good, and just one of those sort of, you know, good old stories of it. You know, oh, I'm not like one of them. I fight for my own rights, and we need your help, kind of thing. So really fun, that one. I was big into the Predator and Aliens at one point, and then they released Predator versus Judge Dredd versus Aliens. Really good. Really enjoyed this one. But you got something Marvel. Spider Island. Really recommend this one. Spiders have taken over. That's it. You know, Spider Island is exactly what it is, and it's just really good. I love a comic like this. You know, almost like a what if kind of deal, and yeah, if spiders roam the earth. And I'm pretty sure that all the characters, if they get infected, they turn into spider mutated versions of themselves. So yeah, it was really good. This man was the reason I become a metalhead. Alice Cooper versus Chaos. So it's all the Chaos characters going up against the man himself, Alice Cooper. And I am a big fan of Alice Cooper. I remember watching Wayne's World again, because I watched it when I was about 10, and I never really got the humour at the time. And then when I was 16, I watched it again and loved it. And yeah, then I realised who Alice Cooper was, and Feed My Frankenstein and being played at the concert they go to, and yeah, I haven't looked back. Been a metalhead ever since. Jesus Christ, that's good. Sorry, I just got an energy drink. It's kiwi strawberry. That's actually really nice. It's an Oxford shred. I just saw it and I thought I'll pick it up and have something. Oh, that really hit me really nice. Steambusters! It's Ghostbusters in steampunk world, and I think there's only 2 comics, and it's really good. I recommend it. It's really fun. This to me would have been a great Ghostbusters movie, you know, like a spin-off, and you know, Steambusters. I think they should do it. It's really good. I'm just going to do one because at the time I was so big on the game series, and one of my favourite video game characters, Blood Rain. This is just one of many comics, but I think I picked this one because it's a really cool cover, and yeah, really, really fun. I remember buying all the comics, and I never got to read them because I was trying to get them all and then read them, and one day I just read all through them, and it was a great day, so love my Blood Rain. Yeah, used to see Vampirella. Hack and Slash Vampirella, really fun. If you love Hack and Slash, you'll like this one. Vampirella is a great, you know, what's the term, partner for Cassie Hack, and just the shit they go through, it's so funny. It's like Vampirella is always having a joke, whereas Cassie's like, will you be serious? Any Reanimator fans? Going up against Vampirella, really good. What I love a Vampirella comic where it's short and sweet, and when it's sort of, how do I put it? When it's fiction, if that makes sense. The current Vampirella run, or one of the big series or runs of Vampirella, it felt too real. Like I would see her today, kind of thing, in this shit boring world, kind of, pandemic ridden, everyone just miserable. Whereas this one, it's very sci-fi-ish, supernatural kind of stuff, and yeah, I like these ones the most. This one was a real treat. I just picked it up. It's one of those comics you don't really see. One day you'll see it on the shelf, and if you don't pick it up at that point, you're never going to see it again, kind of stuff. Warrior Nun Dora. I believe that it's a big running series, but I've never heard of it before. It was really good. I really enjoyed this one. Once again, it's just like a supernatural thing. There's a young woman or teenager, a bit of a punk rebel. I forget what happens, but then she goes to I forgot what you call them, like cathedral or a nun, but turns out they're warriors, so it's really fun. I forgot the dude's name, but remember Star Wars Bounty Hunters? The dude shows up again, and he's targeting Vader. Really good. This is just a one-shot, and I quite enjoyed it. I wish there was more like it. The Belfry? It's a horror comic, and it's just very... gets to the point. It's very creepy and very spooky. But, yeah, there wasn't another one. And it's one of those... once again, like I was talking with Warrior Nun, if you see it in your travels, pick it up. And just unfortunate, not many sites or... Like Amazon Kindle, I don't know if this is on there or not, but for example, when you type in a comic, they might not have it, kind of thing. So yeah, if you do see it, pick it up. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Spawn, but I'm a big fan of medieval Spawn. Really enjoyed this comic, and he collaborated with Witchblade, which was really cool. So I believe it's only 4 issues, but really fun. Enjoyed this one. I'm always a sucker for shark comics. Hookjaw, I'm pretty sure this was in the 70s, and then they brought it back to over the last few years, and yeah, it's really good. I love a horror animal shark or anything like this where it's like the shark's a killer. Not many kids are going to know who this is. Barbed Wire. This is a movie back in the 80s. Pamela Anderson was the star of Barbed Wire. Really fun comic. This was one of the first few comics I picked up at Collector's Zone, and yeah, really enjoyed this one. StarCraft Scavengers. There's a few StarCraft comics I do have, but I'll just show you the ones that really made me go, ooh. I like this one. It has a spooky atmosphere, very alien-like, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. I am a huge fan of this series. Batman, White Knight. There's about 4 different runs of the White Knight series. This is a really good series that I highly recommend picking up. This one's the first one, and the Joker becomes a good guy. He works for the GCPD after falling into... I can't remember if it was a chemical or if he took these pills. Batman is pretty much the villain in this one. He's too rough, and he hasn't got a moral code anymore. He doesn't care who gets hurt as long as he stops the bad guy. And he's chasing Joker at this point. He's running people off the road and hurting people while he's... the Robins and the other characters, stop, Bruce, stop, you're going too far. And the Joker ends up turning into a good guy, and he starts making a campaign that Batman's the bad guy, and it's a really good read. Give it a go. The one that's currently going at the moment, Batman Beyond the White Knight. It's really good because I love Batman Beyond, and that's a really good one. Speaking of Batman Beyond, issue 1 of, I believe this is not the rebirth. I think this was before? I can't remember. If I got the right one, this is where it's not Terry who's the Batman, it's Dick Grayson, if I recall. And this is one of the early few years of getting into the comics for a major, big time. And yeah, I really enjoyed Batman Beyond. One of my favourite versions of Batman. I really enjoyed this one. I was almost crying by the end of it. Motor Girl. I don't want to spoil it. It's about 20 issues, but stick through it. It really gets the waterworks going by the end of it. And once I realised what exactly was going on, I was like, oh my god. It's really sad, and I don't mean to make it emotional, but it's fun, But once you realise it... I need to finish this one. I really did enjoy it. All new Wolverine, where it's Laura as the Wolverine instead of Laura X-23. So yeah, really fun. I like this one. And I actually bought a... you might not be able to see it, unfortunately. No, she's... Sorry. She's over there, damn it. I bought her like a little statue. It's not like a big major statue, but yeah, the comic shop actually had one of her in the Wolverine outfit without the mask, and looks really cool. And yeah, got that over there. Now, I started off really enjoying this comic, but unfortunately it got really bad for me. Harley Quinn Rebirth. This was the first Harley Quinn comic, I believe, when they started the whole Rebirth arc of DC Comics, and it started off fun. If I recall, it started with an alien landing on the planet, turning into a cow to hide among the humans. That alien gets sent to a slaughterhouse, gets butchered up, turned into burger meat, and then everyone starts turning into zombies from the contaminated meat. And yeah, so it was really fun to start with, but then it was around issue 50. This was one of the longest running comics I invested in, and Batman Beyond, and then I stopped because it just got too much. It was when her mum got cancer, and it was just very... It was really sort of punishing Harley at that point. Yeah, oh, is her mum going to be okay? Oh no, that doesn't work. Oh no, that doesn't work. And then, spoiler alert, she does eventually pass, and then we're following Harley trying to come to terms with it, and I thought, that's not what I want to read. You know, I don't want to see my characters depressed all the time and in such a long period of comics. I think it was about 20 issues just tackling the subject, and the thing is, you can do comics like that, but at the same time, it was still slappy. You know, to me, it was just sort of a bad taste in the mouth, so I eventually stopped reading it. I just couldn't stick with it any longer, and I ended up cancelling my subscription. But it started off really good, and then there was an arc where the Penguin showed up with these giant penguins and started eating people, and there was also a Halloween special as well with Man-Bat. That was really good. Man, I hope I got the other one in here. I was big on the Suicide Squad, and I picked up the Rebirth series as well, because I'd read the one before this one and really enjoyed it. And yeah, love my Suicide Squad, and I love the James Gunn movie. Such a blast. Pretty sure I was watching Daredevil at the time, and I think it was the season where the Punisher shows up. Daredevil and the Punisher. It's always a great comic seeing these two duke it out, because they both have the same code, but for a completely different setup. You know, they want justice, but the way they both have it is yin and yang. Frank wants to kill the guilty, whereas Daredevil wants to punish them, send them to prison, let them serve their time. And once these two clash heads, it's like, no, we're doing it my way. No, we're doing it my way. Well, I'm going to put you down then. Yeah, just polar opposites. And yeah, it was a really good read, this one. Hey, this was probably year one for me, 2014. If I can recall. Death of Wolverine, the Logan Legacy, and I remember this being a very big deal, like, oh my god, they're actually going to kill Wolverine, and then he came back. I quite enjoyed this one. Black Canary, 2015, 2016, yeah, I've really enjoyed it. We're just following her, she's in a band, and yeah, it was just, I really enjoyed it, and I really did. I'm going to do these two together. They're different stories, but I'm pretty sure they're the same premise, but I can't remember which one it was that absolutely blew my mind. We've got Venomous and Edge of Venomous. I spent an afternoon going through all the comics, because I think I had them all and I just didn't get to read them yet. And no, I bought the first issues and then I just bulk bought the rest. And I can't remember which one. I think it's this one, where there's different symbiotes, did I say that right? Yeah. And the one that made me go, holy crap, was Poison. I think Poison, the white one, and he's got the tentacles on his back, and what really scared me, the way he goes with his style, So you got Venom, who's very almost like tar-like and all that stuff. Then you got Carnage, who's all about blood and all that stuff. Scream, Scream. Poison. It's in the title. You touch him, you're poisoned. But what was really scary, it was almost like apocalyptic world, and if it was, I think it was Spider-Man and trying to help this kid, and then all of a sudden someone's like, don't touch them, don't touch them. And turns out that what poison does is he infects people and he turns them into his own sort of minions. They turn into a version of him. And I immediately thought, The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing, and then The Thing before that as well. I just got those vibes, and it was really scary. I thought, oh my god, if he touches you, that's it. You're infected and you start turning, and it was really scary. I thought, wow, that's really give me goosebumps. You can probably see him actually. Hang on. There. Yeah, you can probably see him. One of my favourite figure sets, the Venom series, and I got Eddie Brock's Venom, Big Venom, Poison, Carnage, Scream. Just really love those characters, and yeah, Poison's one of my favourite. This was so much fun. Cosmic Ghost Rider. Frank Castle is Ghost Rider now. He's been chosen, and one of my favourite plot twists at the end. Kill Thanos. You have to kill him before he destroys the universe. Well, no one told him that Thanos was a kid. Baby Thanos. And he's like, I can't kill a child. He hasn't done anything wrong. And because the whole thing with Ghost Rider is you got to punish you can only kill the guilty. Well, baby Thanos hasn't done anything wrong. So he ends up being stuck with him and trying to protect him, if I remember, from everyone trying to kill him, because he's done nothing wrong. We got a collaboration, Big Trouble in Little China, Escape from New York. So you got both characters, Kurt Russell portraying those characters, and they're both colliding in the same universe. It's really funny. Give it a go. Now, I can't remember if this was already a movie or if they've just released a series based on this. I can't remember for the life of me, but once again, this is one of the first few comics I picked up. January 15th this was released. Wow. 2015 I should say. Is that right? Yeah. Pretty sure. Not too sure. Sorry. The Kitchen. Very Sopranos-like. If you like that kind of atmosphere and crime and underworld dark shit, really good. Give it a read. What was that spin-off? The Saints of New York? I feel like I haven't actually watched it, but from what I've read, apparently it did really bad. I think that's what they were trying to be like. That kind of gang warfare. Those three, their husbands are killed and arrested, so they're running the streets at that point, but then other people are like, what does a woman know kind of thing, and it gets pretty brutal. We got another chaos. This time Cassie Hack's getting involved. I'm going to do a lot of these comics. They're just really fun, and this is the whole point of the video, showing the ones that I enjoyed, and yeah, really, really good. I love Cassie Hack. And Vlad is my boy. I have to recommend this one. Rugrats. I loved the Rugrats growing up, and I still love watching it to this day. I got the DVD box set, and yeah, just think of Rugrats as if it's in the current times. So an example, so they're in the garden, they're trying to escape from the dinosaurs. Oh, there's monsters are chasing them. It's a drone, a camera drone following them around. Oh, there's another monster. It's a camera on the wall. So the parents all have like digital cameras watching the babies. They can't get up to shenanigans anymore, but in their world it's dinosaurs and all that stuff, if I can remember. And really fun, really, really fun. Oh, I remember getting into this. I picked up an odd issue, but then I wanted to start collecting the other ones as well to get the whole set. The Punisher. And really awesome cover. I really enjoyed reading this one. I think it was about 20 issues, if I remember. We got another Punisher. This time he's going up against Deadpool. Yeah, it's hilarious. It's very hilarious. Now, everyone loves Spider-Man, but I feel like everyone has a personal favourite side Spider character, and mine is Silk. Really love Silk. She's an awesome character. I love her. Just her style of a spider person, and yeah, just I love the story as well. She was like locked in a vault, and then she's trying to find her family and all that stuff. And I love her appearance as well. I just like that style because she's from, I think she's Japanese or China. I can't recall, but so she's based her sort of outfit on, like a kind of like a ninja and all that stuff. I can't remember that. I need to look up into that one. So, yeah, she's one of my favourites. This was such a fun read that I almost bought the statue, but I decided not to. I just thought, nah, I'm happy with just the comics and just reading them. Gotham City Garage. I think it's all the women of DC, and they've started a biker gang going up against the man of Gotham, and it's really good. You know what? I think I've saved myself a lot of time. Because, yeah, I went through all the comics and pulled out all the issue ones. I might still go through them. I'll go through them. It will be quicker now because I've got through all the issue ones anyway. This one I highly recommend. If you love Batman and the Ninja Turtles, this one is for you. There's 3 arcs or 3 runs of the comics. So you got like this one, the first one, then there's a second one, the third one, and I enjoyed every single one. And I enjoyed this one so much, I got it signed by Freddie Williams II. I think that's his name. Oh, I feel bad for always forgetting his first name. So, one year he come to Comic Con over here in Perth, and I remember lining up, and I said to Luke, "Oh, let's get our issue 1 signed." And so we were lining up, and we felt kind of bad, because the person in front of us had a stack of issue 1s, goes up, gets him to sign them all, and he's making a profit. He's going to sell them on eBay. So I'm like, oh, why do we have to be after him? So obviously, Freddie's going to be annoyed, and it's like kind of sets us up now, oh, how many comics do you want signed? But I stepped up and I was like, man, I love this comic and it's great art. So can you sign it for me, please? So he signs it, says says thank you, and I said, oh, how much? And he went, no charge. And I was like, are you kidding? And then it made me like want to see the other guy. I'm like, you had him sign all those comics for free, you asshole. But then I thought, are you sure you don't want anything for it? And he goes, no, I appreciate you reading it, buying it. It's supporting me and the other artists and writers and all that stuff when you buy the comic. And thank you. And I'm like, thank you. And it just made my day after that. And very happy to still have it and signed. Here it is. I was looking for this one. This is issue 2 because it's just a cool cover. Alice Cooper. Once again, this was one of the first few comics I picked up from Collector's Zone, and this is a great read. Absolutely love it. If you love Alice Cooper, you're gonna like this. This was really fun. Cinnamon. I haven't got to read in other issues yet. I don't know if there is, but this is really fun. If I recall, it's just an owner making a comic about their cat, what they get up to, and they bring that into this. And what's really cool is the cat thinks it's this big bad person, and if I recall, it's like whatever's happening to the cat, it's like, oh, there's what do you call those little device, a Roomba, oh, it's a biker gang, gotta show them what's what kind of thing. It's just really fun. It's like Rugrats with a cat. What you see is sort of normal. In the cat's mind, it's oh, there's flying UFOs everywhere, but it's just a drone kind of thing. Here it is. The Suicide Squad that I really enjoyed. And yeah, if I recall, Harley Quinn got really pissy with this character. I think the Joker's daughter, sister, I can't remember. And it's like, he's my pudding. And yeah, this was a really good one. Enjoyed this one. I love this cover so much. It just takes me back to the old school days of video games, going to the video store or even the store in general. You pick up the game because you see that really gorgeous cover and you think, this looks awesome. Red Sonja issue 2. Look how stunning that cover is. It's one of my favourites of all time. Just so gorgeous. There was a period of time I was really big on Tank Girl, and with the recent run, Tank Girl Gold, it was a local artist or writer, I can't remember. They were visiting the store and had a load of these comics, and he signed a load of them, and kept one aside for me, and I was like, oh, sign me up, I want it. Going back to the Batman White Knight, just like with that Red Sonja, one of my favourite covers with a Batgirl as the chief officer for the GCPD, so because Batman's gone batshit insane. Sorry, no pun intended. Oh, really clever about, smart about that one. Holy crap. And so she's like, Batman, I'm arresting you, and she takes over and got Nightwing and all that. And I really want a figure of her in that outfit. It's so badass. Finally, I was wondering when you'd show up. Aliens versus Vampirella. This is a comic that got me into Vampirella because originally I thought, that's so cheesy and people aren't going to read it because she's in a bikini and all that stuff. And because I was big on Aliens, I thought, alright, I'll give it a go. After reading this, I fell in love with Vampirella. She was so charming and funny, and it was just, she has a personality. She's not just a dumb bimbo. Oh, I happen to be wearing a bikini in space. But yeah, after this comic, I started picking up a load of other Vampirella stuff and realised that there is a soul behind the character, and absolutely lovely. And then I was reading into it further, and it made sense with that. She's not a vampire, she's an alien. She's from a planet that happens to live on blood. They don't drink water, they drink blood. And unfortunately on planet Earth, our bodies are full of water. This was a very good read. I absolutely enjoyed it. I'm surprised that no company has picked up to make a series of this, because it would be really good. Reborn. What this comic is about is when you die, it doesn't matter how. You could die from old age, from the comic, suicide. How do I put it? Manifest? Is that the proper term? So once you die, you're reborn. You're reborn into a new world. And it's a world where you can be sort of what you want. And it's almost like a medieval kind of theme with this one. And so this woman, she was dying of cancer, and she just rotted away. And then she wakes up, she's young again, she's fit, she's really strong. And basically what it is, you're a warrior now. Whatever you remember from your past life doesn't happen anymore. You are now a warrior, and we have a land to protect. And she encounters her father, and it's like, wow, I'm surprised no one's jumped in on it. It's a really good comic, a good series, and just, mind you, I think I know why. Because there's a moment where a dude fucks a drake. Now, I was familiar on who Cassie Hack was for a few years. I think it was 2006. I picked up a comic, and this was when we didn't really have a comic store local. So if we went to a comic shop once every few years, we had to make it count and buy whatever we could. And I picked up Evil Dead meets Cassie Hack, or Ash Williams, and it was like Cassie Hack in Army and Darkness kind of stuff. And sorry, pardon moi, but I can't remember that comic. But I was always familiar with that series, and eventually we had another comic run, and the comic shop was following it and getting every issue. Hack and Slash Resurrection. It's pretty much Friday the 13th. With Cassie Hack. She's a camp counselor. Now there's students dying, or campers dying. What's going on? And I just love that cover. It's absolutely stunning. If I had to choose right now that I could only continue reading one comic, definitely Hack and Slash. It's just something about it. It's so much fun. I'm currently going through the big books, but then I'm going to move to a digital on my tablet and follow it along there. But I think what I like the most is any comic can fit in her universe, like Cassie Hack's universe. We had Vampirella, I'm pretty sure Red Sonja showed up. Yeah, if I recall. There was a Reanimator at one point. Chucky from Child's Play showed up. It was really funny. And I just remember that moment. I think we finished up an arc for her comic, and then it's like a cellar, and someone's like, "Let me out! let me out, oh God, let me out. So the person opens it up, hi, I'm Chucky. And it was like, oh! I found my my KHD CGC cases when I was doing that. And another thing as well was just I was trying to do one each for a comic, and I only ended up getting 3, so I was just swapping them out every time. But so I won't worry about getting them out. This one, I'm hoping they do more. Tales told in techno horror. Going back to that anthology thing where it's mini stories in one comic, this was so good. Very horror and just. There was one where it was very thin, like this dude touched something and it's like, oh, I'm turning. So yeah, it was really good. This comic was so much fun because I was playing the game along with reading it. Mortal Kombat X, really good this one. About 20 issues, and we finally learned how Sub-Zero got there. Cut on his eye. If it's true. No, I think we knew how it happened, but then they changed it. Because Kano does it. He's fighting Sub-Zero and then he grabs a dagger and he's like, ah, give up yet. One of my favourite comics. What? It's a short comic, 4 issues. If you can get your hands on it, pick it up. It is so good. It's almost a killer shark kind of story, but this one relies on atmosphere, and there is just one part in this comic that made, like, I was reading it in bed and I almost jumped out of my bed just when I went to the next page. And it was just like, boom. And I was like, oh. And I never thought, like, people say they jump reading books or comics. And I thought, how? How can you jump reading a comic? This made me jump, and I get it now. And really good. So if you see this in your travels, definitely pick it up. I mean, the artwork's really beautiful. Really love it. And then this part here. But what I will do, I'm going to find a screenshot of the scene that or the page I'm talking about, and brace yourself. 3, 2, 1. Like, to me, that is Jaws, whereas those other comics was like Sharknado. It's very cheesy, kind of slapstick, whereas that one's very serious. Like, she's being, like, the plane crashes, she's stuck on the wing, and she's being stalked by sharks, and it's a mating season, if I remember, so that makes them more angry. This comic has a special place in my heart. Chastity issue 1. The first comic I bought when we found the comic shop, and yeah, it was a really good read, thank God for that. So yeah, absolutely love this character. I wish there was more. She would fit with Cassie Hack, funny enough, at some point. Actually, I think she did. When it was Hack and Slash versus Chaos. I think she did show up. And there was a recent run, I think a year ago, which brought her back, and yeah, really fun, enjoyed it. Righty, so that's box 1. That was actually a good box to start with because it had a majority of the comics I wanted anyway. So what I'm going to do now is get that all packed away and then just pick another box and just quickly go through it and see if there's any ones that are, I want to show as well. Alright, this box has a load of books that I picked up and read, so there's going to be a few Vampirellas in this one. So yeah, there's a few I'll definitely recommend. This one's not Vampirella. I just grabbed the first one, but it was really fun. Ghost Rider, Wolverine, and the Punisher. If I recall, it's a bunch of issues where they all featured in the same comic, and the first one was really good. They're all staying at like a B&B, bed and breakfast, and so, oh, why are you here? I don't know, just mind your business, and that was a really fun one. So this is my kind of comic, or book. Man, I couldn't remember the title. Red Sonja, Worlds Away. At some point when Red Sonja's battling a sorcerer, she ends up in New York, if I recall, and yeah, she's just in present time, so it's really good, and I need to get the second book. Hey, here's another White Knight. Harley Quinn, so she's the star of this one. Unfortunately, it started off really slow, but then it really picked up at the end. There was a funny moment in issue 1 where she was a detective. See, I like this Harley Quinn. She's very serious. She's not a joke anymore, and she doesn't take anything, as a joke kind of thing. And she just wants to settle down, raise her twins, and just leave it at that. And then some dude rocks up to her and is like, I need your help, Harley. You're the only one that can solve this. And she's like, yeah, I don't want to get involved. And I swear to God, if you wake up my 2 kids, I'm going to kill you. And then after a bit of talking, she's like, all right, I'll help. Just don't wake up my kids. His phone starts beeping. Wah! And she's like, ow! It was really funny. I just want to get one in. Sonic the Hedgehog, one of my favourite video game franchises of all time, and a really good comic series, this IDW. And funny enough, I remember back in high school, me and Luke were doing so with the subjects that we picked, we had to do 1 day a week in a kitchen because we picked hospitality. We had to actually work in a restaurant and learn the ropes, and after every shift, we'd go to the news agency and pick up Sonic X when that was a big thing sort of releasing at the time. And yeah, we'd always pick up the latest issue, and then years later we got into the comic thing again with our recent comic shop or local, and yeah, just eventually another Sonic comic come out, and this one's really good, and I'm still buzzing about the movies. They're so good, and the second one when Knuckles finally showed up was just Remember I was talking about Archie? Now he's going up against the Predator. It's really good. And people do die. I can't remember his name. Jughead? There you go. I feel really bad. I can't remember a thing about this book, but I flicked through a few pages and it was enjoyable, but I just can't remember anything. Vampirella Southern Gothic. She's in sort of present time and just living with a family, if I remember, and just going through it. I seem to have enjoyed it because it was my kind of thing. This technically doesn't count because I got it through Kickstarter, but I might just throw it as a recommendation. Rival Angels. We're following a bunch of female wrestlers, and it's following drama between them, and it's really good. I'm enjoying it. I've got a few more books to read because I got the whole set. The Boys. Oh, man, this one started off really good. Then I just started to lose interest. Animosity. Think of The Walking Dead, but the animals are sort of taking over. Screw the humans. You don't get to live in our world anymore, so we're taking over. And yeah, so we're following this little girl, and the animals can talk. We can listen to them, but yeah, it doesn't get real at some moments. I remember being really sort of shocked when I turned one page over and I was like, oh, holy shit. Once again, I didn't actually get this from Collector's Zone. I actually got it from Comic Con. I remember there was a booth and they had a load of the books and I wanted them. If you're a fan of the Punisher, you got to read the Max series. You must. This was really good. Vampirella vs. Dracula. So when I read Vampirella Alien, I picked this book up and yeah, it was really good, and never looked back. I still love Vampirella to this day. Night of the Living Dead. It's pretty much the movie, and then there's some other books after that. It's treated like a sequel, but I love my cheese, but those Night of the Living Deads are just very deads. It's too much for me. Like, I can read some shit, but it's like, can we tone it down a little bit? And it's not even the zombies that are the problem. I'm going to be one of those people, it's very sexy, but it can be a bit too sexy kind of stuff. And it's like, yeah, can we tone it down a bit? Like, we get it. Oh, boobies. Oh. Perfect example. Enough said. After watching the movie, I had to read Civil War. It is amazing how different the movie is compared to this comic, and yeah, the comic is... I kind of like it better. I mean, I get the Marvel Cinematic Universe is different from the comics. I mean, even Infinity War is so much different than what we got with that in the movies, but what I like this one, it's still the same premise, but instead of it being sort of the way they went with Captain America 3, a bunch of innocents were killed because of you guys, and it was during a war or something like that. Whereas this one, it was a bunch of not has-beens, but it's like these new superheroes that barely even had superpowers, if I recall, and they pretty much wanted to be like, oh, we want to be like Captain America and Spider-Man, and all these really cool heroes, and we're gonna save the day. End up getting people killed, and I think they died as well, and that's when the whole split happened. You got to be all watched and all that stuff. And one of my favourite moments was when, if I recall, they were worried about Frank Castle because everyone was on their sides. You either work for the sort of the police force and just monitoring the other superheroes, or there's the underground where we're not obeying the law, we're not joining the system, screw that. And at one point Frank Castle, I'm pretty sure, was mentioned, and it's like, oh, no one's seen him. And then he rocks up and he's carrying Peter Parker, who was brutalised, like the kid needs help, what's going on? And then once he realises the situation, we're all on the same team here, we don't want to be ruled by the government, all that stuff. And then Frank looks over to someone and he kills them. And everyone's like, he's with them. And he's like, I'm with who? Who am I with? What are you talking about? Like, you just killed him, so you're obviously working for those guys. And he's like, no, because he murdered someone, so I'm punishing him. And everyone's like, oh. And because he wasn't working for anyone, because there's supervillains working with the good guys, but to Punisher, no, they're the bad guys because they kill people. So, and they threw him out, if I think, because he wasn't playing nice with everyone. Here we go. The first omnibus of Hack and Slash. I think I got 3 now, and I really love the books. Just having all of the comics in one book, so... Oh, jeez, I got lucky. Hang on. I can't believe I bloody found that page. So there's the seller. Come on, open the door. Come on, let me out. Let me out. Chucky. Cassie Hack. Blew my mind. So there's a load of Star Wars comics, but this one I recommend the most. Star Wars TIE Fighter. I won't spoil the end, but it has a great twist. So we're following a fleet of TIE Fighters, like Star Wars Squadrons, the video game. You're following this crew and you get to know them, and then they suffer loss and they're trying to get into terms with that. But at the end of the day, they all have the same goal. Down with the Republic. We got to get rid of them. Or the Rebellion. I can never remember. The Republic's... the sequels, no, the prequels, the original trilogies, the Rebellion, and the sequels are the Resistance. So Rebellion, so the rebel scum, and the ending was really good. The Infinity Gauntlet. So I watched Endgame. I thought I want to read the Infinity Gauntlet, and so different to the movies. I mean, the movies, Thanos wants to bring balance to the galaxy. We got to be on even grounds, and I'm trying to bring balance to the universe. This book, he just wants to sleep with death, and that's it. That's his motive for the gauntlet, the snap. Half the civilization all disappear because he's trying to woo death. Ooh, do you like that? You like what I did there? How about we go to someplace quiet and she won't have none of it? And he's like, what do I have to do? So that's all it's really about. And I was like, holy shit. Alright, that's the book, so on to the next box. And we're back. Let's take my jacket off. It's getting warm now. I was cold earlier. Alright, I need to finish this one because it started off a little slow and then it really hooked me at the end. The Girl in the Bay. I will spoil it. So... I don't know, I think she's having some troubles, this character. She ends up in the ocean. I think she falls in or something like that, and she gets out okay. She survives. Most people in this situation, I think, whatever happened to her, they drown. But she makes it to the shore, if I recall, goes back home, and it is years later. But to her, it felt like seconds, and everyone's like, we thought we lost you in the ocean, we thought you were dead. And it was like, ooh, okay. Many apologies if I butcher this name. La Marata? Last Rights Issue 1. I really enjoyed this. Think of the Punisher, but in Mexico, and she's the Frank Castle of this story. She gets gunned down by a cartel or a gang, not too sure, and she comes back from the dead, and it's a really good read. And I want to get the other comics, but it's really weird because it's like Last Rites issue 1, but I think that's just the comic, and then there's another comic with a different title, issue 1 as well. So yeah, I was a bit confused, but really good. Really recommend that one. Perfect example. There we go. There's another one. Same character, but look, issue 1 Descent, but it's the second book if I recall, and that's actually a really gorgeous cover. Very gorgeous. I'll wait this one in. Star Wars. First ever issue, reprint. Really good, and look at that. Look at Darth Vader. Green helmet Vader. And red lightsaber Luke. Cyberpunk 2077 Trauma Team. It wasn't a mind-blowing comic, but I remember picking it up, and this was before the game was released and the absolute shit show that game got on the release. But I wasn't on board with it. I ordered the collector's edition, but then I cancelled it because then I thought to myself, this game is so overhyped, and what if it's bad? So that was the first time I thought, nah, I'm cancelling the order. I'm going to wait for the game on release, and it was the first time I did that. Normally I'm on the pre-order train. Don't judge me, fuck off. And yeah, I picked up this comic, and it made me understand the universe a bit more with Cyberpunk that I pre-ordered it. I know, shut up. And yeah, I got the limited edition. It was like the box with the postcards and all that stuff, and ironically I enjoyed it. As buggy as it was, I enjoyed the game, and because of this comic it made me go, I want to pick it up, and I'm glad I did because I enjoyed it. Man, another one I need to finish. I got 2 issues, but I just never got the other one. 3 issues actually. Exorcisters. Just think of Supernatural. That's how it's like. You got 2 sisters. One of them's very, very. How do I put it? One's a punk. One does ballet. That's how I'll put that. And they work together to solve supernatural things that are happening, and yeah, it's really fun. And once again, I'm surprised this hasn't been picked up for a show. Mind you, with all these shows that are getting released and people just shitting on them, it's like, ooh, oh, I got 4 issues. Oh, I love this one. I remember going into the comic shop and they're like, hey boys, you will love this, you gotta pick one up. Deceased Dead Planet. It's all the characters of DC, and there's a zombie virus. If I recall, it's a cyborg. He does something by mistake, or someone taps into him, and somehow with technology, if you're looking at the screen, you turn into a zombie and the whole planet turns into a shit show. And spoiler alert, they kill Batman. And there's no bullshit, he comes back. No, they kill him. And I think it was in the first issue, they lay down the law. Batman is not running this show, and it was so good. And there's another one after, so there's this one, and then there's one after. There was one panel that made me go, oh shit. They're doing something, and I can't remember what, and there's a river, and it's like, oh, how are we going to get past the river? And someone's like, that's not a river. It's like, run! It's Elastic Man. And Elastic Man's one of those characters where you kind of see him on forums. It's like they take panels of the comics, and he's sort of like a slapstick kind of guy. A bit like Deadpool. He, there's a serious moment, and then he kind of, makes the moment a bit humorous. He's the entire lake. He stretches himself out to make him look like water, and once people realise it's too late, he arises and starts eating everyone. It was just... Alright, now we're moving fast, because that's the box done. So there was a lot of comics in there that I had already shown, but then there's some there I thought, it's not worth showing. Not as a bad thing, just, I enjoyed it, but it didn't just wow me. Ooh, this might be my dedicated Red Sonja and Vampirella box. Yep, this one was really good. Dynamite. Another zombie theme, but all the characters of, Dynamite are turning into zombies. And they killed Red Sonja. Mars Attacks Red Sonja. That was so much fun. Technically I got these for a Christmas present. The Undertaker. There was a load of WWF comics released back in the days when Chaos Comics was a big sort of thing, and really fun. This one's a fairly recent comic, but it's so much fun, and they've just done a second run printing of it. Barbaric. This comic is insane. It is so good. So you got this guy, he's a hunter, just pretty much like a Red Sonja comic. She's out wandering the lands or the planet and just doing what she does. Or what he does is just killing people and feeding his axe. Because the axe talks to him, but he craves blood and he needs to be fed. So, has to kill people. Oh, I was looking for this one when I was talking about StarCraft. So there was that one I was talking about. And this one, StarCraft Survivor. Or Survivors. So one of the people in that comic, or the one I was talking about earlier, they survive. Everyone gets wiped out, but he is being controlled by one of the Protoss. I can't remember the term, and he finds a base, and people just start dying because of him. Well, because of like a puppet, and he's like, oh, I don't want to kill people. And he's like, you will do as I say. And it was just so good, and you were wanting people so much to try and figure out what's going on. And at the end, I was like, someone help him, god damn it. I'll do a shout out here, because there's so many comics. Aliens and Predator, a big fan of any comic for those. There was one I was sort of about, but I've got a load of them, so I'll just mention that here. You know, I love those comics, and I've got so many. Now, there was a few comics released when the movie came out. Mad Max Fury Road, so there was like these ones, and then there was like side comics as well, just when the movie was released, and they were really good. If you can find them or read them, I recommend them. Just, yeah, it was really enjoyable. Found them. There we go. So you got Mad Max just Fury Road, and yeah, so I can't remember if it was after the movie, like the events, or before, but I remember there was one part of it and kind of broke my heart in a way. I won't spoil. This one's insane. The Mask. Holy shit, it's just... I mean, you look at Jim Carrey's movie and you think, oh yeah, it's funny, but also quite intense. Not the same. It's very much The Boys, like it's just crazy. I was right. Cassie did appear with Cassie Hack at some point. Man, I should have been showing the comic boxes. Got some really nice custom ones. I got a Vampirella, a Red Sonja, DC Bombshells, X-Men, Guardians. And then, funny enough, I was just talking to the workers at the comic shop today. I'm surprised how long it's taken people or companies to do these, and surprised they haven't tried to milk it. You know, oh, 1 of 10 exclusive boxes, get them now before they sell out. You know, there's money there. Oh, there's all my blood rains. Guess who else made an appearance in the world of hack and slash? The Crow. Really good. It is a crime there has not been any show or movie involving Cassie Hack. Bit shocked. I mean, it's like she's the one that's keeping all these horror icons going, if you know what I mean. Like people that you would think, oh, we haven't seen them in a while, and boom, there they are in Cassie Hack's world. Has Dexter made an appearance? Because she's essentially the same motive as him. You know, he's a serial killer killing serial killers. She's a slasher horror icon killing slasher horror icons. Change that, not horror, just a slasher killing other slashers. Oh. Huh. Guess what I found? Christmas decorations. I thought they were boxed with light. Then I heard jingle bells. Alrighty, last box. I drew a puncture logo on there. The Incredible Hulk 181. I'll give you a second to guess why this comic is so special they got a reprint. First appearance of Wolverine. And I think I'm pretty sure it's technically a... not an official. Because I think he's only mentioned, and then 182 he appears. I can't remember, don't quote me on that, but that's why they got a reprint, because it's the first Wolverine appearance. See, I'm a big fan of it. I've actually got a few comics like that, like reprints of iconic moments. Issue 252 of The Amazing Spider-Man, where he becomes the symbiote Spider-Man for the first time. The New Mutants, first appearance of Deadpool. And the first issue of the X-Men. My times have changed. It's really amazing when you read them for the first time, like the first ever issues, and it's like, wow, we've come a long way. I also love a what if Peter Parker was the Punisher. Really cool. And yeah, one of my favourite Marvel series, the What Ifs, it was really good. Oh, come on, it has to be in here. I'm gonna be really gutted if it isn't. It's not. Oh, I must have missed them. Damn it. I want to do a shout out because there was a series. I'm pretty sure I didn't have an issue talking about them or the series. One of my favourites, and I spent a whole, because I bought all the issues because I was slowly reading them and I just wanted them all, missing the last issue and I can't get it at an affordable price. Venom Space Knight. Just think of Guardians of the Galaxy, but Venom, and it's a different take on Venom. It's not like he's the Spider-Man Venom. He's essentially the Punisher. He's got this really cool outfit. I'd really like a figure of him at some point in that style, and he's armed with like weapons and guns, and it's a really good read. And I still need to read the final issue after all these years, but yeah, or issue 11. I can't remember. It was an issue before the end, and it's just so pricey. But I think I can get it on. Actually, I think I've read it. I can't remember on my tablet. But yeah, I'm spewing. I thought it's going to be in this one, but I must have missed it in one of my big ones, and I just can't remember if I did mention that series during this video. But that's a good one. I recommend. Alright, everyone. So that's all my comic boxes. Like I said in the video, it's not I didn't go through every comics, just the ones that I really enjoyed reading and just cherish the most with memories. But I tell you what, let's end this last episode of Collector's Zone Haul, episode 100. With my latest pickups from the comic shop today, and quite a few good ones. So let's end the video how I always do the video, like this series, and show you what I picked up and read. Alright, to kick things off, issue 1 of Midnight Suns. I just fancy something Marvel, especially Wolverine, because of the Deadpool 3 announcement, and Hugh Jackman shows up in the video Ryan Reynolds did, and it's like, oh, you want to be Wolverine one last time? Yeah, sure, Ryan. So I fancy something, Wolverine, and this is really good. We're following a school and it's all magic related instead of... So it's like X-Men, you got the Mutant Academy. This is the academy for like people of magic and sorcery and that stuff. And Blade's teaching the students on how to, protect themselves, etc. And something like an Armageddon's going to happen. So they need all the most powerful heroes they can gather to prevent that. And yeah, it was really good. Talking Edge of Spider-Verse. There's another issue, Edge of Spider-Verse, and this one was really interesting because there's a dinosaur Spider-Man. It blew my mind. It was really good, and once again, just getting different Spider people of each universe, and something's going to happen. I forgot what's going to happen though. This was really good. Issue 1 of Shock Shop. It's 2 comics in one, and as you finish one, this character here tells you, stop, don't read any further. Close the book, turn it around, read the other comic, and it's very clever, so I'm going to follow this one. Really, really fun and quite charming. This comic's insane. Sergeant Werewolf. So this character here, Sergeant Werewolf, he gets shot in the face by Nazi Dracula. He turns into a werewolf, and then he has to stop Nazi Dracula from bringing Thor to control his army. And it's exactly how it sounds. It's just insane. It was so much fun. I actually forgot to read this one. I must have missed it in my bag. I picked it up, just an extra 0. Amazing Fantasy 1000, starring Spider-Man. So yeah, Amazing Fantasy was the first comic that Spider-Man debuted in, and yeah, number 1000. And yeah, I completely forgot I missed that one. I don't know how. And what a fitting comic. Remember the comics I was talking about that I love having reprints of, like the first ever issues or first appearance of characters? Action Comics number 1. The first appearance of Superman. And this was so much fun, and I didn't realise that this was very much like one of those comic series where you got different comics in one. The ones I can think of are, I think only people over in England and Australia are going to know these books. I'm probably going to be wrong, some people know. We had comics like Beano, Dandy, and it was one of our favourite comic books that our parents would always buy me and Luke, because when we were going to a school, it was about a 30-minute or 40-minute drive home and back, and what they would do, they'd pick up the latest issue of one of those comics, Beano or Dandy, and me and Luke would read them on the way home, and it's just like a a collection of different comic strips of all these characters, and this is what this was like, and I had no idea. I thought it was just Superman, and yeah, man, Superman's come a long way. Alright everyone, and that's the end of this Collector's Zone haul number 100. I've had a good time tonight, just going through all my comics, reliving the good times. I've been doing Collector's Zone haul for 4 years. I started doing it in 2018, but I've been collecting comics from Collector's Zone since 2014, and yeah, I can't believe it's episode 100, and I just wanted to sort of end the series on a big number like 100. And the reason as well is I've moved on to digital now, so I'm buying a lot of comics on my tablet now, and yeah, so that's why I'm ending the series, because I'm not buying as many anymore. I mean, I bought a big stack today because I haven't been to the comic shop for the past month. We had Luke got COVID and we didn't want to spread it, and I didn't catch it somehow. Amazing. And yeah, so that's the end of this episode. Thanks all for watching, and I will see you all later.